morning, everyone. How are you? All right, well, it is Friday. Durbin, hello. Jen, good morning. Jeanette, hello. Let's see, Sigurd, good morning. Linda and Karen, hello, hello. Not Karen, Kara. That meant to come out, Kara, but it just switched to Karen for whatever reason. You're Kara, I know that. Good morning, Michelle. Let's see, Natalie, hello. And Tracy, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to our coloring family. Let's see, Sigurd, excited for the book. Oh, I'm so glad. Did you order it, or are you wanting to in the future? Or it's a fun page. Let's see, Kim, hello. Yana, hello. Working in the same book. Perfect. Mona, good morning. Ananta, good morning. All right, everyone. Well, it has been a week since we streamed. Now, my plan was to get caught up on both sides, but this actually took a lot longer than I anticipated. It was a pretty busy week, and so yesterday I set aside my whole morning and kind of early afternoon to work on this. And getting caught up on this, even with minimal interruptions, this was easily about 4 hours. You know, obviously I stopped to get food and snacks or whatever else. But yeah, there's no wonder it took us long enough when we were here on the day before. Hi, Cece. Hi, Alex. Let's see. Hoping I'm not missing anyone. Thank you. Yeah, not gonna lie. I posted this picture in my stories, and hands down, it has had the highest interactions on a story post I have ever had. Aw, thank you. I was kind of blown away. Like stories aren't like reels or posts where they get pushed out to other people. In fact, when non-followers see my stories, I'm kind of confused sometimes. Like I'm really curious how they see it. And it has to be that like maybe they find a reel and then, you know, they see the red ring around my face and so they tap that, or not my face, but you know, my little logo and everything. Oh, awesome, Sigrid. Thank you. Yeah, I was just like, all right, people are liking it. Thank you, Angela. Hang on, I'm gonna go turn the fan on a little bit higher. I am kind of warm. I have it on, but hang on. Oh, but I forgot I'm bringing you guys with me. So yay. Congratulations, you're with me at my fan now. I'm still getting used to like this mic that goes with me everywhere. But I always specifically wear something that either has like a collar or a little bit of like a lower neck, because when I wear a t-shirt that goes up to here, it's really hard to clip it on. Hi, Bibliophile. Hi, Angela. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've really been enjoying this, and I'm really glad we did the background first, because that's going to help set the tone for the rest of it. Before we get started, I just want to show you guys something kind of fun. So if you guys have been around here long enough, you know, once school starts, I am doing, hi, Terry. I am doing, oh, and did I see Robin? I see you. Hi, Robin. Okay, Robin, if I missed you. Hi, Robin. Let's see. Oh, you're sweet. Well, we did part of it on stream already, but as far as like what colors I used, I actually left these out. You guys would be proud of me. I actually put all my pencils away, and in putting my pencils away, I realized I had zero burnt umber. Zero burnt umber. I have one now, and I'll tell you a story in a little bit, because I don't want to spend so much time talking and not actually coloring, because this is a big page. But let's see, what do we have here? I'll read these all off here in a second, so if anybody wants to go back, slow down, write down what they are, we can. But this is what I used. Hi, Ronnie. But yeah, so if you've been here for a while, you know that school pickup during school year is like, I swear, half of my day. I spend a lot of time in the car getting to schools, because I have to get to schools at a certain time, to get to another school at a certain time, to get the kids, and needless to say, I easily spend 2 hours in the car by the time I get home, unless there's other errands to run, in which it's even longer. So consequently, I need to bring things in the car to entertain myself. I've tried coloring, it's uncomfortable, and pencils roll and whatever else. So my go-to activity, if I'm not drawing on my iPad, is crocheting. So, and Johanna, oh, you're in Scotland. Oh, how fun. Hi, Marcy. So although it looks like, wow, she's been crocheting a lot, because I'm behind on squares, but it's only because I'm in the car pickup line forever. So I started this project. I was gifted this yarn. Oh, wait, here we go. There you go. I was gifted this particular yarn for my birthday, and I finally got around time to start it. So I'm working on a fairly large, realistic octopus. So this is gonna get stuffed, and there's eyes. You know what? I should probably switch here. Here we go. Okay, so this area here is gonna get stuffed. I have eyes that are gonna go here. I still have to make them. And then there's actually even like a vent on the side. But here's the thing. I was getting really frustrated with it. For the most part, most crochet patterns, and I can't see chat, but I'll look in just a second. Most crochet patterns I can do as long as I'm, you know, not distracted and I sit down and I look at each of the steps. Sometimes there's a YouTube video, but for whatever reason, this is supposed to have suckers under the legs, which I'm going to do it. But my goodness, are they hard? Like I think I'm just not understanding what she's trying to say very well. So I had to put it to the side because I was just like, if this is not bringing me joy, I need to do something else. But he looks really cool. He looks really cool. I love octopuses. They're so, so smart. Anyway, so when he's done, he's gonna look freaking awesome and huge, but I had to take a break. So instead, I don't have to stand up for this next one. Instead, I started working on, oh wait, what am I saying? Hold on. My face is way too close. Let's see. It's not released here yet. It'll get there. It'll get there. Right, Angela? It's huge. Well, see, we got really good AC in the car. Since we got the new car, it's very pleasant. Otherwise, in our old car. I know, little Emily came and put it on her head when I was done with it. But the other thing is, I've been talking to the kids about their Halloween costumes, and they asked me if I was going to do a costume. I haven't really done a costume since they were little, mostly because most of my energy goes to creating their costumes. Little Emily wants to be this forest sprite dragon thing. I've got illustrations, like I'm planning out the whole thing. Little Steve wants to be a trash can. A little trash can. His isn't going to take nearly as much work. But so little Emily asked, am I dressing up also? And I was like, well, no, you know, I usually, anyway, I didn't realize she would be so sad that Steve and I were not partaking in costumes this year. So I'm working on a costume for myself, but it's not going to be anything that's too involved. This hat, I've had the pattern for it for a while, and it's hard to see. So when it's all done, this is going to lay flatter, and then you have these little ruffles under here. Now imagine it with spots like here. Let's see. Oof. I look like Mrs. Claus. It'll look better when it's done, I swear. But it's gonna look like a mushroom hat. It's gonna look like a mushroom hat. And then I'm gonna do like a beige dress and make a matching like large wide belt. And then I'm gonna do like really heavy blush with like little dots. Anyway, I'm gonna be a mushroom thing. And so she is much happier now that I am doing. Fact of the matter is, I think I did my stitches too loose, and so it is a little bit big, but I'm gonna wait until I have all the ruffles out and I get it all positioned, because if I need to take it up a little bit, I can just like fold up a couple rows. You have walked into me trying to make my children happy. And to do that, they would like me to dress up for Halloween this year. Now I just got to figure out a costume for Steve, but he doesn't do a lot of dressing up. Like, he would be happy if I just got him like a hello, my name is, and then that was the costume. Got my favorite soda from the fridge, which I can drink right now because there's going up. Yeah, no, that's fair. I made cinnamon rolls this week and there was one left, and to be fair, they've all gotten some, but there was only one left, and so I may or may not have eaten that when I got back. Aw, thanks. It's dressing up too, right? Yeah, so working on that. Like I said, everything's kind of curly more than I want it to, so I'm gonna like stitch everything in place, and I think it'll be really cute when it's all done, but it's work in progress. Anyway, so I'm not ignoring my responsibilities. I just have nothing better to do when I am sitting in the car. So I'll have to show it to you when it's all done, but that has been the car pickup line project. I also got a book about granny squares, so when I'm done with those projects, I'll work on some granny squares. Anyway, all right, that was the crafty news of today. So let's get straight into this, because we have a lot of coloring to do. Like I said, there was a lot of really amazing response to this page and the stuff that I posted. Like, I posted the reel for this. What is it? It's 10 o'clock now. Good morning, Della. I posted it at like 6:10, 6:15 or something whenever I woke up this morning. I was going to put it at 7, but I was like, I'm awake. I'll go ahead and post it now. And we are at 3,930 views already. So that's not too shabby. That's like almost 1,000 views an hour. So I don't know if it's like channel specific. I actually haven't looked into it all that much. Yeah, I don't know. Thanks, Roddy. Yeah, so lots of stuff going on here, but let's go ahead and dive into this here. So what I'll go ahead and do, because I didn't really mark down, the pencils that I used. Like I said, we did work on this a little bit last stream. I don't know, actually. Hopefully. The more views, the better, man. Like I said, this got the best story response I've ever had on anything. And I was just like, aw, so nice. All right, so I'll go ahead and list these off. Obviously, like, I can't point to you exactly where everything was, but it'll give you a place to start if for some reason you want to follow along. We started sketching this in on last stream, so if you want to see how that planned, because I didn't see this all in my head before I started sketching. I just knew, hi Kelly, I knew I wanted trees and everything, so this kind of grew into what it is. Like, I hadn't planned on leaving a peak through the trees, but I feel like it kind of works. It almost gives it depth rather than filling the whole thing in. So colors that I used, I'm just going to read them all off. If people are watching this back, they can always pause and write it down. So we've got light umber, bronze, and again, these are Prismacolors. The music, I think, is a little loud, isn't it? My red bar is showing it a little bit higher than I want, especially when I'm listing off pencils. Okay, there we go. All right, so we have light umber, and then we've got bronze. We have canary yellow, sepia, we've got crimson red, PC 924, this little baby one here, and this one are the same, indigo. If you guys are wondering, I super glued dowels to the ends of my pencils to give them a little bit longer lifespan. As you can see, I'm getting as much out of that as I possibly can. Then we have terracotta 944, muted turquoise. I use muted turquoise on a lot of this background here. We may end up moving the camera over just a little bit. Anyway, muted turquoise, indigo, blue, and dark umber was this background. And in fact, I left a little bit of this so that I can show you guys what I did real quick. Okay, so sorry, muted turquoise, then we've got sand. This one I believe is dark brown. Then we've got 1034, I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is goldenrod. Sorry, my pencils are kind of glued back to front, so like I've got two PCs on here, but like the name is almost gone, or I see only the French name. And then we've got cadmium orange hue, PC 118. We've got our dark umber. I use the Caran d'Ache full blender. The blender pencil will work fine too. We have got sienna brown. This is a older set sienna brown. You can tell because it's got the gold lettering instead of silver. Oh, it's okay, Anamta. It just takes practice. Let's see. Pumpkin orange, PC 1032. We've got sunburst yellow, PC 917. And then we've got, this one is yellowed orange. The number is gone. Of course, we've got white, black, and I'm pretty sure this one was beige sienna. Yeah, exactly. Color like you. PC 1080. I think that is beige sienna. Anyway, so that is what I used on the background. Like, there's some still spots to touch up, like this wasn't colored in all the way. All right, we're gonna shift this over because it's a really long page and I don't want to, sorry, it's twisted up here. So when I'm moving this, there we go. Let's put right there, I think is good. Where's the hole? Sorry, I know I took you guys for a ride. I apologize. Thanks, Kim. All right, let's screw that in. Okay, let's zoom out again. There we go. That's much better. All right. So for today, and if anybody's coming in, you're like, where is this page? Where can I get it? This is from Enchanted Forest, but it is the 10th anniversary limited edition. So not just the regular Enchanted Forest. This one has the new illustration, which is this one, the owl one, and then on the back side is here. So yeah, it is on both sides, but I'll probably honestly end up getting 2 books so I can have one on each side. I had somebody comment saying, like, I wish she would give us thicker paper and print on single-sided. So these actually, there are some artist editions available for Secret Garden, Lost Ocean, and Enchanted Forest, but they're out of print. So they used to do that, and I asked her at one point, like, why don't we do it anymore? The organizing everything and the bureaucratic's not the right word. Basically, it was just really difficult to get those put out. So she's not planning on doing any more, but if you can find one, grab onto it. It's great. Worst case scenario, you scan it in, reprint it on paper that you like. All right, so let's see. Let's do just a little bit of this blue so that if anybody is curious how I went about it later, because we didn't really cover too much the blue when we were here last time. So what I've done so far is we have got the dark umber, which I really just need to go get more of it. Also not available. Yeah, like I said, you'll be able to find maybe 1 or 2 of them on Amazon, but the prices are super high right now. So honestly, at this point, if you want it on thicker paper and single-sided, my recommendation would be to scan it in. Now on a standard home scanner, because the shape of them, they're not always going to fit entirely on there. Now I can, like, usually if I've got a big picture that I'm scanning in and it's not the size of just like a regular piece of paper, I actually use Photoshop because there's a program, or there's a button in Photoshop. Basically, it's called Photo Merge. So if you're scanning something, like let's say it takes me 6 scans to get this entire thing done, I'll end up with 6 files where it's all just different pictures of different parts of it. What I do is I put those all into one file, grab them in Photoshop into the Photo Merge part, and what it is the computer finds where the matching areas are and puts them all together, and then voila, you've got a page. Took me forever to figure that one out, but it is very handy. But I also know that Photoshop is not something everybody has on hand, especially I think it costs, well, not think, I know it does cost to use it. Anyway, so if it's not relevant for you to use, then there's not a whole lot of point. Do you have the planner? Maybe? Here's the thing. I always get the planners. I don't know. I might have pre-ordered it. Also partially because I'm a bit of a Johanna collector. So I think I have almost everything she's put out and some things she hasn't put out. Like I have a few things that she gifted to me when we worked together and when I went to go visit her. So I've got a few little unique things that I absolutely love. One of them being this frame was a gift when she and I actually first worked together. No, you don't say. I know, right? That's a whole other story. I'm sure most of you have heard it. But anyway, in the thank you box she put together, it was this cool frame. Oh, thanks. And so this is definitely one of my little pieces that I really enjoy. Plus have a Secret Garden candle. I will never light it, but it does come with a little mini Secret Garden little fold out thing. It's super cute, super cute. But it was very special, and so it also lives up on my little shelf. She gave this one to me when we went to go, my mom and I took a trip to Scotland and went up to go visit her, so that was nice. Right? No, absolutely never. It lives on my shelf with pride. But yeah, you guys would be proud of me. I actually put away all my pencils except for these ones because I used them last night. Yeah, it smells great. I'm just never gonna light it. I will say though, I have this candle on my desk, and it's a coffee candle that I got when we were in Oregon from the coffee shop I really like. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Like, oh, it's so strong and it's delicious. And I don't light it either because just by itself, I can just smell it. So I just leave it here on the desk. It always makes me want to get coffee. I had coffee already this morning. Today's definitely going to be a second cup of coffee kind of day. All right. It is 10:20. Let's get to coloring. So now that we have, oh wait, I was going to do this one. Now that we have this background, it's going to help us figure out what our color palette is going to be. So after I do this little part with you guys, we're going to be doing a dark brown on this edge. So for gelatos and pencils, hey, that sounds like a good afternoon to me. Okie doke. So we're going to slide this up. All right. So what I've done here is, like I said, we have the dark umber. It's okay. I got you. I got you. We've got the dark umber. You could also use like sepia. Basically, I just wanted to get a nice dark color down here. And then we have the indigo blue and the muted turquoise. Those are pretty much the three colors that I was using. I'm going to use my longer one here for what we're doing here, so it's easier to hold. So dark umber. Okay, so we're gonna give this just a quick sharpen. Like I said, I put away all those pencils the other day, and I realized I did not have a dark umber, and so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go and get one from Hobby Lobby, just an open stock. Oh, thanks, Cece. I don't get open stock too often. Open stock Prismacolors used to be like $1.29, $1.29 a piece. They're $1.99 a piece now. So I definitely don't like go nuts over getting open stock unless there's something I really need. So my plan was I was going to go down and I was going to get some dark umber because I had absolutely none. And while I was there, I grabbed a couple other colors I knew I didn't really have too many backups on, and colors I know that I use all the time. Okay, so now we're going to grab the indigo. I'm going to give it a quick sharpen. So I went there and I grabbed a couple of them. I was going to grab 2 of the dark umbers, 2 of something else, and like 3 others. But even still, at $2 a piece, like that adds up really fast, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to go nuts. Like, anyway, so as I was holding these, if you want a single pencil shade to buy, you just find somewhere that sells them open stock. So most art stores, because Prismacolors are so common, most art stores will. So we're going to use indigo. So Michael's or Hobby Lobby. The issue with buying open stock in stores, though, is the odds are these pencils have not been treated with care, and it would not be surprising if you ended up with some shattered cores. People take them out and drop them or whatever else. So it's not my first choice, but I don't like ordering online all the time because you have to pay. It ends up being more expensive anyway with shipping, unless you end up getting, like the shipping threshold. And at that point, if I'm having a hard time spending $10 on pencils, I'm definitely going to heck of a large time spending, 65 or 70 or whatever the cutoff is for it. So I picked out the pencils and everything, and I was going to grab 2 of the dark umber, and I was just like, no, because I had already told Steve, I was just like, I'm not going to, go nuts or anything. I just need to go get a couple pencils for this page that we're doing. And so I was going to grab 2 of them, and I was like, you know what? No, never mind. I don't need 2. I'm not going to use up a whole pencil on this page. I'll get another one later. And so I put one of the dark umbers back, right? Now, keep in mind, I specifically went to Hobby Lobby to get this dark umber. The other colors were just a coincidence, right? I was just like, okay, well, I'll go ahead and grab these ones while I'm here. And then when I had the 2 and I changed my mind, I thought, no, I don't need to get the second one. I put one of the dark umbers back. Well, here's the thing. Shipping is going to cost a lot. I know, right? Like I pulled my stickers from the shop at the moment. And I think the only thing that I have to physically send out are my paintings, because I want to leave those there. But those ones are specifically US only anyway. Shipping is going to get, the new tariff laws go into effect in September. And yeah, anyway, it's a whole thing. Essentially, yeah. So what had happened is I had at those stores, when they're open stock, most of the time the employees are not as particular about pencils as we are. And pencils will, or even customers, when they look at things and put them back on the shelf, they see brown barrel, goes with brown barrel. Dark brown and dark umber are not the same thing. Look, this is dark umber. This is dark brown. They are very different. Anyway, So I put back what I thought was one of the dark umbers that I had, and we go home, right? Keep in mind, I went there specifically for this pencil. Turns out it was actually a dark brown that I pulled these out so you guys can see, right? So I keep backups over the years when I've got an extra pencil or I've got an open stock. I know it seems like a lot, but I don't go through them super fast. And so I have these drawers of backups, okay? So, like, I'm okay for the most part. I don't need any more dark browns. I don't. And I come home and I'm like, the one pencil that I went there for, I should have looked and double checked that the one I was putting back, right? Yes, the one pencil that I went there for, I come home with 6 other pencils and not one of them. Not one of them is the one that I actually needed. So I rant and raved and vented for a little while until finally Steve's like, why don't you just go and swap it out tomorrow? I'm like, but that's not the point. I have these, if you look up wooden pastel storage drawers, I generally keep these over here. So I know you guys can't really see it, but the way that this is set up. So I have my window here in front of you guys. To the left, I have my computer. To the right, I have those Arteza drawers that I organize. So I essentially have like a U-shaped desk. But on the other side of these organizer drawers, I have a small, like little, regular wood composite, Walmart bookshelf that's got like 3 shelves. So I've got that, and then I have this small dresser that used to be the kids that also organizes like diamond painting stuff and whatnot. So on top of that shelf, the pastel storage drawers, they can fit 3 drawers, and they fit perfectly for these. Back in early coloring days, this was the only way, right? This was the only way that I had pencils because Prismacolor was all I had. So this is what I used to store it. I don't really I only removed the drawers because actually at one point what I did is I painted the front of the drawers like this blue color, and then I have contact paper decorating the outside of it, so I can't really separate them anymore. But when I need them, I can just... Can you change out the size of the drawers? Not so much. These do come out, so you could make larger drawers. I suppose theoretically I could just take these out. But I kind of like having them separated into their sections. But yeah, if you look them up on Amazon, I don't know what they are now. I bought these back in 2015. They probably don't even have these same ones, but there's plenty of others on there. But just search up pastel storage drawers, look for the wooden ones, and I like that it comes with a little bit of foam in there. And so yeah, they easily fit my pencils. So I've got 4 drawers where they're all $30 for 4 drawers. That sounds about right. I want to say they were probably a little cheaper when I got them, but that was a decade ago. So everything was cheaper a decade ago. Anyway, but these are my backups. And I was just like, you gotta be kidding. Not to mention, I have 4 trays. And of course, I have no dark umber. I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. So anyway, needless to say, I was so mad at myself. Didn't have the foam inserts, and the dividers don't come out. They're glued in. Let me grab the actual listing real quick because I probably still have it on here. Like I said, it's been a while, but I can search my orders. That way you guys can have the link to the exact one. Let's see. Let's search the word drawer. Let's see. Ah, there we go. 3-drawer wood pastel storage box. Do they still sell this one? Oh my. They do still sell it. This definitely was not the price when I got it a decade ago. But here you go. If you want to search for other ones similar to it, that's the one. Yeah, purchased 4 times, June 4th, 2016. So, okay, 9 years ago. 9 years ago, not 10, but still. Let's see. Let's see if I can view the order. So they're $60 a piece now. Yeah, when I bought them I paid $25.99 for it. They're $60 now. That's insane. But that's it. Those are them. So if you're wanting to use that as a jump off point for finding ones that work for you. Right? Well, I mean, we were already like home for the day, and it's kind of a hassle to go back out because it's like 20 minutes from where we're at. And I was just so frustrated. So anyway, I went back. Needless to say, I double checked. We have 2 Hobby Lobbies, and so I had gone to the other one because it was more convenient. They only had the one dark umber. So I think I'm just going to need to drive back over to the one that I initially mistakenly grabbed it. I'll be honest, I have not updated the quilt squares in a little bit. I need to. It is on my list. We're finally getting in the rhythm of school pickup time. So yes, that is my goal for this week, is to get completely caught up. So I will have to check. They're so nice, Terry. They're so nice. Because when I was starting out, we're using the blender pencil. I always just colored at our dining room table. And so I didn't have multiple different kinds of pencils. I didn't have, the pencil zipper cases or anything. We lived in a 900 square foot apartment, and we had a tiny dining table. So I just kept it, because we kept our table up against the wall. And so I would just keep my drawers right up there, and then I'd pull them out. Hi, Marilyn. Yeah, there you go. 4 sets in 2016, 25 each. Yep, that was mine. $25.99 when I purchased them in 2016, and they're like $60 now. It's okay. I won't cry. Might cry a little. How many shades of Prismacolor? There are 150 shades of Prismacolor currently. Do I have more shades than that? Yes, but that's because I was lucky enough to get some discontinued colors. I'm just using black to help this stand out a little bit. All right, so basically I just layered and got to the level of darkness that I wanted. This is probably a little bit too bright. The other ones were a bit more muted. But that was essentially what it was. And then, of course, the trees, we did the trees last time. You just layer and darken up and everything. But that's essentially what that was. Hi, Celeste. Hang on 1 second. Okay, we still good? Let's clear my throat. Yeah, 150. The other ones that I have that are not currently available, or you just got to get real creative, are, and I don't use them on stream very often because I feel like that would be really unfair for me to, yeah, you might. Right now, I have the 150 set linked at the top of the chat there. Right now it's like 130. It's definitely more expensive than it used to be, but I mean, everything is. So 130 isn't bad. Basically, if you do the math, if open stock at Hobby Lobby, the pencils are $2 a piece, $150 or 150 pencils. Someone could do the math. $130 is a better deal. And that's just on Amazon. I haven't checked to see what the price on Blick is. But the ones that I have that are discontinued are these ones here. These are all metallic Prismacolors that I don't actually use all that often. I've used a couple of them. And then I have some steel colored pencils, and then I have some Deco Orange. I've got more Deco Orange in here. I had gotten these at a little, oh yeah, we got more backups here. I had gotten these at a little mom and pop shop in Colorado. At the time, I was part of a Facebook group, and they're like, hey, I went into the store and I found that they had discontinued Prismacolors. So you better believe I called them up. And initially I placed a small order, but then I told Steve at the time, I was like, I'm not going to be able to get these anywhere else. Do you mind if so? He just let me get whatever they had left in their stock. Metallics, yeah. I did the Michaels bulk 3 set pack of the 150. It worked out to, ooh, that's good, Durbin. That'll keep you in stock forever. And then I do have some Deco Blue Prismacolor that the lovely Catherine Potter, we did a bit of a pencil swap. I sent her a couple of my steels. She sent me a couple of the Deco Blues. I haven't used them yet. just like looking at them, petting them. But yeah, for the metallic colors, there is metallic rose, metallic maroon, metallic purple, violet, blue. Let's see, this one is jade and green. So there's a number of them, but they discontinued them for a while. Lots of pencils on sale. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, I love a good deal. But yeah, Catherine was super nice, and we did a pencil swap, and so I've got a couple of those. I love the Deco blue color. Honestly, I don't know why they discontinued it. Raise your hand if you would be perfectly fine with them getting rid of electric blue, and replacing it with Deco blue. Raise your hand, because like electric blue is scratchy and terrible, and hi D, we need to like do a petition. Get rid of electric blue. Give us Deco blue, or like get rid of something. Get rid of something. We want the Deco blue back. They really should. Oh my gosh, Durbin, can you imagine if they did a special release, like a limited release? So not even limited, because like I want to be able to get more of only the Deco colors, because that Deco orange, I've got multiple, and it's really close. The Deco orange is really close to salmon. It's really close to salmon. But can you imagine? Like, absolutely, yes. Please, can I have some more? I know, right, Durbin? I'd be like, all right, Steve, we don't have a mortgage, but can we somehow take out a mortgage so I can buy these pencils? Can we create a mortgage so I can get these? All right, so I'm gonna get these browns, and actually no, chocolate is a little too saturated. I think we might actually just do it with the ones that we have out already. So I showed a little bit of that blue background color. Now what I want to do is I want to do this border, right? Metallic and Deco colors. I will say, I'm not just having the metallic ones and having tried them out. I feel like the metallic ones are definitely more of a collector's item. I don't find that they're very useful, because when you blend over the top of the metallics, they all kind of end up coming out gray. So if you're not planning on blending, they're cute and they kind of work. But yeah, if I had to choose, I would most definitely choose the metallics. Thank you. Collecting rare and discontinued Prismas. I found all the decos, all the metallics, plus some very rare ones. Super fun. Really? Marcy, have you shared a picture of your collection with us at all? I'm terrible about going on Discord or like, I would love to see which ones you have, Marcy. Do you have the steel? Be willing to swap. Getting my channel ready to launch. Want to give 100. Oh, Durbin, that would be so great. Oh, yes, please do. Let us know when you launch it. Absolutely. Okay, so this is why I definitely need to go get more dark umber, because we're going to be using it a lot. So we're going to do the background, and I think we're going to stick with, we're not going to do green leaves here. We're going to do all kind of brown theme for it, because we got very autumn vibes, right? We've got a pop of color with the sky and everything. Of course, we have our yellows and our browns, and there was a giant bee flying outside my window. Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And so I want all of this to pop, and this will truly be the border. You can see I did a little bit of coloring there where I put the trunk and I didn't mean to. Oh, did you really, Kara? That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely, Durbin. Definitely. So we're going to do, we got some dark umber. Obviously, we'll do some black. We'll get a couple other ones for like the leaves, so we do it just a little bit different. Let's do dark brown. Of course, we're going to grab our light umber, the beige sienna. Let's see. Oh, fun. Yeah, Kim, I saw that. That's why when she was going, like, I'm usually lurking. I think I had to leave before she finished because I had to go pick up the kids. But usually I'm like kind of quiet and lurking. But I just thought that was so sweet. Our lovely Shannon just celebrated 5 years for her streamiversary. Although, Shannon, I was chuckling because when you said, who's been here for the 5 years? I couldn't remember if I had. Like, I know I started streaming, when did I start streaming? Like 2017? You have a steal. Nice, Marcy. I started streaming, I want to say 2017. And I know you were there when I started because you and Kenny were my first mods. Like, I just straight up be like, you ladies seem to know what you're talking about. Help. Shit. But yeah, I mean, there's a good number of you that have been here since my first stream. I was so nervous. First video was 13 years ago. Yeah. Students ready. Been a rough year. ER visit specialist. New diagnosis. Oh, I mean, you guys have seen how I've had to drop down stuff. I can't remember if I told you guys last time, but we did get the order for blood work for little Steve to see if we can figure out what's going on. I haven't made the appointment yet, though. I need to. I do, because obviously we want answers. We're going to use dark umber, but I am just trying to figure out how to go about it. He doesn't know, but neither of them do vaccinations well, shots, anything. He doesn't even like having the blood pressure cuff on his arm, if that gives you an idea to it. Sounds good, Linda. Thanks for being here. And so doing blood work, like his doctor's great. She's like, look, if we're going to do this, let's go ahead. Like, she has a full panel for him, but she's like, if we do this, then he only has to be poked once. So I need to make the appointment. I have the work order now, but I need to find the perfect place to take him for. Oh, wait, did you say that you got pencils with it? Hold on. Oh, the Woomer 72 for 10. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, that's, and I know that. But it's just, I know it's hard to explain without you guys being there, but the amount of, we're not telling him beforehand because he will just stress so bad about it. And so we'll tell him when we arrive, which kind of sucks because now we've done this before, you know, anytime. Oh, seriously, Miss Scones. Anytime we've had to go do their yearly vaccinations or basically any kind of jabs they needed to go, we tried them all. We've tried bribery. We've tried, you know, well, I guess this files under, you know, like we'll go to Target and you can pick something out. We've tried, you know, letting them know ahead of time and to plan it out. We've tried surprising them, and like they're all equally terrible. But the issue with that now is we've done enough where we don't tell them before we go. Anytime we leave anywhere as a family, they're like, are we going to get shots? Like, no. But now they're not going to believe me. So my thing is if we've had a number of like pediatrician nurses, where most of them are great. But the thing of it is even when we go to get like swabs done for whether, you know, when they have to check to see if somebody has like flu or COVID or whatever, we've gotten nurses that are very short with him and irritated. Like, I'm trying to be firm yet kind because I know that this needs to be done so that, you know, like he had strep. We had to swab him so we could get him a antibiotic, right? And so, you know, obviously as his mother, I'm going to comfort him as much as possible, but it makes it 10 times worse when you can hear in the nurse's voice that she is annoyed and irritated that he is having a fit or throwing a conniption or refusing to hold still or whatever else. And so I want to be really careful because this is going to be a rough thing for him anyway. Sounds good. I love red squirrels. It really is, Shannon. And he deals with anxiety as it is. He gets worried a lot. Our neighbor, they have, I'm just gonna say it right now. The neighbors that we have that have dogs, they're terrible dog owners. Like, why do you own that many dogs if you're not going to take care of them properly or train them in any way whatsoever? So they recently got a new dog. It looks like it's some sort of Chihuahua mix. It doesn't have straight up and down ears. It has kind of floppy ears. She was 3. She exclaimed they were poking and prodding her. I just love this place. That's awesome. Yeah, and I may need to, but it's like, like I said, I want to be really careful about who we get, because I don't even want it to start off negatively, because he feels that so much. He's very empathetic, and he can read the room. Like I was in the car working on that stupid octopus, and I had gotten frustrated, and I didn't say anything, but instead I audibly sighed and was just like, and I put the octopus aside, and he heard that, and because he was sitting in the back of the car while we were waiting for little Emily, and I can tell when he is feeling anxious if someone is upset, because he'll pipe up from the back like, I love you, mommy, like in the sweetest tone, like he's trying to make sure that everything's fun. And I was like, buddy, it's fine. I'm not mad or anything. You don't need to, like, I'm glad you love me, but you don't need to make sure that I'm okay. Like, it's fine. But he can pick up on that. He read that. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking, Durbin. Yeah, so I need to make some calls and figure it out, but I know it needs to be done, because if we can figure out if there is in fact a legitimate reason, right? Seriously. Like, why do this job if you're just going to get irritated? Surely when you work with children, you know that you're going to have some children that are going to struggle, especially one that has never had blood drawn before. Yeah, and he really is. Like, he doesn't like it if he thinks people are mad at him. Like they have ID tags for school, and he's trying really hard. They leave their ID tags at school at the end of the day. Kimmy, I'm the adult. They leave their ID tags at the end of the day. They leave them at school and they go out. Well, he had forgotten his, since the school year has started, he has forgotten to put his away twice. And there's a woman that's out there at car pickup time that if she sees a kid with, their ID still, she snags it and will take it back or whatever. And so she had snagged his, but when she took it back inside, she gave it to the wrong teacher. And so his ID was missing for a day or so. So he finally gets it back. And this was a couple days ago, and he forgets to take it off again. He goes out there and she snags it from him, and she says, oh, that's strike two. And when he heard it was strike two, he, like that cold sweat that you get when you think you're in trouble or something like crazy has just happened. Well, that's what happened with him. And he got in the car and he was just like, he was so, right? Exactly, Jen. Yeah. He was so upset. And coincidentally enough, I had happened to make kolaches from scratch that day. They love kolaches. I only make them a couple times a year because they're a little bit labor intensive. Anyway, so when he got in the car, that's what I had for him for snack in the car. And that did perk him up a little bit, but he got in the car and he was just crestfallen, I could tell. And he was so worried what this strike meant. Like, he was afraid he was going to get, written up. He thought he was going to get in trouble, and he was trying to explain to me how he doesn't like getting in trouble. Like, my kids are rule followers. They just are. And so hearing this teacher tell him, oh, this is strike two, he was just like completely distraught, terrified he was going to get in trouble. So needless to say, we sent that particular teacher an email because I hadn't heard anything about, that there's some sort of write-up or consequences, so I'm just going off the information he told me. So we emailed the woman. I said, hey, he's really concerned. Like, is he going to get written up? Is there actual strikes? And she felt so bad. She had just said the strike thing offhanded, like she was saying it in a joking way. But he's at an age where he doesn't necessarily pick up on jokes like that. Like I said, he can pick up on feelings like a bloodhound can pick up on scents, but he doesn't always understand the joke. And so, she reassured us. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. And she took him aside and said it. But it's like, it's that kind of thing. He just feels things so strongly. And especially if he thinks that like he's in trouble. And so, we've talked about strong emotions and working through that. But what I did do for him, because he was really frustrated with himself for not being able to remember to put it there. And I know I never really say their age, but he's just at an age where, remembering things can be kind of kind of hard, you know, you got a lot of energy, you're thinking about 20 bajillion things. I'm using black now. So what I did, you guys remember those bracelets I was making with the embroidery thread? I had one that I've been working on and off for a few months. It was long enough now, it actually fit around his wrist. So we were kind of joking about, you know, how you have that picture with like the string tied to your finger. And I was like, well, what if we do this? What if we put a bracelet on your hand? And this bracelet is the way for you to signal to yourself to remember to put your thing, you know, put it away before you leave. And so he has his own special bracelet now, and he remembered to put it away before school yesterday. So having that visual cue, I think, is going to help him go a long way. People have, like, he's heard people talk, not about him, he's just heard people talk about it just in general. And he was asking me the other day, he's just like, do I have ADHD? I'm like, I'll be honest, kid, mama has it. But aw, thanks. Openly, I should let you know. Oh, absolutely. And he just feels that so much. Like he has just, and it's great because it's going to make him, you know, a really understanding person when he gets older and everything. But so he was concerned. He's just like, do I have ADHD? It's just like, well, buddy, you know, there may be some aspects, you know, I struggle with the same things. And I was just like, number one, I don't want to, I mean, if it was at a point where it was keeping him from being able to function on a daily basis, like that's one thing. But I don't want to have to put him, I've tried the ADHD medication and it just did not agree with me. So I don't want to have to put him on it unless that's like last resort. I would rather teach him the skills to manage it. And so that's why for this one, we're like, well, let's try a visual cue for a reminder for this one specific task that you need to do. And part of it is he's young or whatever, but I don't want to say like, oh yeah, it's ADHD. Like, now here's your excuse not to, you know, learn to function with it or around it or whatever else. And so Steve and I talked about it. We're like, yeah, let's give him the tools first and find out ways to work with it rather than, you know, because medication, it's not going to get fixed or anything. It's just throwing on a Band-Aid. I would rather give him the skills he needs to learn how to make it work for his, you know, for his life kind of thing. So, because that's essentially what I do. I was trying to explain to Steve about it because Steve, he very much, it is a special power, right? And I think that's just the way brains work sometimes, right? And so, I was trying to explain to Steve because Steve is very neurotypical. Like, he'll not be saying anything, maybe look off in the distance, and I'll be like, what are you thinking about? And he's like, nothing. And I'm like, what do you mean you're thinking about nothing? Like, that's not possible, right? Like, surely you're thinking something. Like, when I say I'm thinking nothing, I mean, like, I'm thinking about something unimportant or whatever. But he literally thinks of nothing. The man falls asleep in like half a second flat. Like, he's just boom, out. I'm like, you mean you don't lay there for 45 minutes going over the details of the day and that one conversation you had a decade ago that you're still regretting and that one shirt that you wore? Like, right? This past year, I could have tested, and he does have ADHD, but I was adamant that he wasn't taking, he needs skills to, yeah, exactly. Like, I am not opposed to doing it if he truly needs it, but I'd rather teach him the skills first. ADHD that he won't take. I hear not throw him away, so I've sat with him for a year what to do. At the pharmacies, there's usually a bin for medication disposal. Like, they have a thing where they will dispose of it. No, a few tough years, but he's now wonderful, caring, compassionate. See, right, Kara? Like, I can play out whole stories in my head, but like, I explained it to him this way, right? So I made those cinnamon rolls, right? Oh, yeah. Or the easier it is. Yes, exactly. And there actually have been studies that go back and they say that neurodivergency isn't that there's anything wrong with our brains, but more than likely, this is how our brains functioned way back when we needed them to function this way for survival, right? You know, we're talking caveman time, you know, like there's things we need to do for survival. You know, we've got food, we've got shelter, we've got, okay, make sure nobody's dying. Like, it's just the way that our brains needed to work at the time because of all the things we had to do for survival. And so they say it kind of goes back to that a little bit. Do that also, but I understand it's a man thing. They can think of nothing while right? Well, so I was reheating these cinnamon rolls that I made. You know, there was dairy in the frosting, so I didn't want to leave them out. And so we were reheating them because it was after dinner and the kids want a treat or whatever. So I go to reheat them, right? And I've got these 4 cinnamon rolls that I'm reheating. I wanted to put them in the microwave and then follow it up with, you know, like a minute or 2 in the air fryer. Wait, what did Josephine say? Oh, you're chuckling at what Mona said, yeah. Yeah, exactly. For 14 years has been, exactly. So, you know, so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to put them in the microwave and then I'll finish them up in the air fryer. And all of this is I'm thinking in my head, right? This isn't a matter of like 5 seconds, but you don't need to think in complete sentences for your, you know, head to be able to follow it. And so I was just like, okay, so I'm, you know, getting out the cinnamon rolls. Oh, but look, there's actually 5. I could eat one of these later. I'm going to reheat them in the microwave. Then I'll, you know, and I'm thinking about all these steps of things that I want to do. Oh, I've got some extra frosting. Maybe they'd like a little bit of frosting on top of it. It's all of this stuff. And I explained to Steve in that 5 seconds that that's what I thought of. And Steve's looking at me like, you were thinking all of that? And I'm like, yeah. And he's just like, that sounds exhausting. I'm like, why do you think that I always have either music, an audiobook, or a show on? The only time that my brain is quiet is when I'm trying to focus or listen to something else. Like, it's insanity. There's this, well, I won't play it because I don't want to get copyright slapped, but there is this scene in Gilmore Girls. It's the episode where Chris has kind of come back into their life, and Gigi and Chris are spending Christmas with them, and they are sitting at the table, and Lorelai's talking about how her brain is like full of a big pile of weird, and she goes on to this rambling step after step after step of all these things that she's thinking of, and in the end she goes, monkey underpants, and of course the kids were cracking up. But I was like, yeah, that's pretty much what my brain is like. Like a prime example, I'm just using dark umber, by the way. A prime example of the way my brain works sometimes is I was filling up the sink to wash some dishes, right? And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, it takes a little bit, yeah, exactly, Josephine. Or I have to wait until I'm thoroughly exhausted to fall asleep. Yeah, exactly, Terry. And so I was just like, okay, the sink takes a while to fill up. I'm going to run out and throw this item away because, yeah, the hard one, dark umber. Yeah, I will be getting more of these. Let's see, what did I use? I think I used light umber. And so I'm like, okay, well, the sink takes a while to fill up. I have enough time because it was when the trash was going to be taken out and I had a couple things that needed to go in it that were just sitting next to where I was. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to go throw these items in the trash and then I'll be back before the sink fills. Okay, so I get the items, the water's running, and I get the items and I go outside. As I'm going outside, I walk past our front garden, which had gotten a little overgrown with weeds. And so I'm, walking past the garden. I go, that's a lot of weeds in the garden. So I go away and I throw away my item in the trash can, walk back up the driveway. And I look at the garden again. I'm like, you know what? It wouldn't take much for me to just grab these and pull them out of the garden, right? I'm like, okay, cool. So I grab just a couple weeds, pull it out of the garden. And then as I'm pulling them out of the garden, yes, water running. So I pull them out of the garden, but when I pull the weeds up out of the garden, there's a bunch of fire ants that come out. I'm like, oh, dang, man, we've got fire ants under the garden bed. And so I stop for a second and I get distracted by the ants and I start sitting, I'm just leaning over and I'm just watching the ants go crazy. Because if you know anything about fire ants, they will lose their mind and start running all over the place. So, here I am, weeds in hand. I'm looking at the fire ants and I'm going, just thinking like, oh, bugs are kind of cool or whatever. And then I look at my hand, I'm like, oh, I need to go throw away these weeds because I don't want to leave them in the driveway and have them dry out or whatever. And so then I go over and I throw away the weeds. Meanwhile, I come back, I'm looking at the ants again, and I'm like, okay, cool, and I go back inside. By this time, I have completely forgotten the previous task that I was doing of the dishes and the fact that I left the water running. And it was that day, my friends, that I learned that tiny little lip on the sink where the inside is lower than the other ones is a safety precaution because it keeps the sink from overflowing. Because when I came back in, the sink was very full, and so was the other sink. Everything was running off into it. I'm like, oh, that's a very good example of the way my brain can get completely derailed. No joke. I don't know. I don't think you can see it in the reel that I put up. I think I cut the clips out. But here's the thing. Even when I'm sitting here, coloring all day, I enjoy doing it, but it's also, I'm focused at the task at hand because I need to get it done. But also, it's exactly it. Like, I cannot think of a better example of, I'm using black, by the way. So, you know, I'm sitting there for 4 hours coloring, but sometimes my mind wanders. And one of those things, I was like, oh, I need to paint my nails. So to keep myself from getting too distracted as I was coloring this background yesterday, I would stop every few minutes and paint one nail. Paint one nail. So I think I have a couple clips, and I don't recall if they made it into the reel or not, where you can see I have this one painted and this one painted. These ones are not painted. And it gave me a brilliant idea. I was just like, you know, because the key to getting your videos around is, you know, have a good hook or something where people will comment or whatever else. And I'm like, I need to do that. I'm using the dark umber as like an Easter egg and just like paint my nails throughout all my videos and like just change one every now and then, you know, like, oh, all of a sudden this one's blue or red or whatever, and just slowly change all my nail colors while the video is running. And then people are like, what is happening here? But that's the way it worked. So when I went, when the kids went to bed last night, we were all chuckling because at the time only my left hand was painted. I ended up doing my right hand later, but that's why I like color and drawing painting. Helps easy. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, needless to say, my brain is a chaotic land of nonsense. But it's like Steve's getting a little bit more insight as to why I do the things I do. Because even the kids last night, when I was explaining the thing with the headphones, where, you know, I've always got a show or an audiobook or music, they're like, we were wondering. I'm like, yeah, because when I have something else, some other auditory process that's happening, my brain stops going crazy. Or at this point, you guys are like, dear God in heaven, she needs help. Which honestly probably isn't inaccurate, but yeah. Hi, Allison. Okay, so let's do some of these leaves now. And this whole thing, this entire background, is nail paint allowed at schools? Ours, yes. I don't know. I think that's something that they probably do at like Christian schools or Catholic schools or whatever. But yeah, nail polish is allowed. Okay, so for this leaf, let's go ahead and grab the dark brown. I would probably do little Emily's nails more, but it's her sitting around with the drying time that she like gets real bored for, which I get. Oh, it happens, Sigrid. It's just life. Life would be boring without chaos. There were some temporary chain link fences up yesterday that nearly fell on the car. The wind caught it and they tilted at a 45-degree angle until they went back up. And you better believe I was like, can someone fix this? Yes, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I'm telling you, it's never a dull moment. Like there's always some sort of craziness going on. Well, we get a lot of storms over here too, but I kind of like them. I like storms as long as they're not dangerous. That's what I prefer. But I can't believe it is already closing in on, I know technically we're still in summer, but you know, we're starting to plan things out. I'm starting to plan out the kids' costumes. This month was kind of my planning stage with the costumes. And so next month I'm going to start working on them because little Emily's is going to need a little bit of time. What if my iPad's in here? It's not, it's probably in the other room. They do. I like OPI. I don't use them as often. Like the one for this one, I really like the ILNP brand because it's one of those, oh, I can't remember them, but there's like 5 things. Like it's a clean formula or whatever. They've got a lot of good ingredients. This one's a magnetic one. I need to redo the top coat on it, but it is really pretty. Use a little nail magnet to get the shiny stuff where you want it to go. But I do use the OPI base coat and top coat all the time, right? The burner months, I love it. Are you gonna do the same trees on the other side too? Or no, I'm gonna do the same ones. So it will probably be fairly, you can see my stand a little bit, fairly parallel by the time that we are done. But I don't know what it is. People like butterflies and bees, they have to land by my window here. It's not going to be like identical trees. Like I'm not going to have these exact same 3 trunks. Will it be the same style of trees? Absolutely. Yeah. And then the border will all be this brown. And then I think we're at 1106. I'm going to finish with this little corner on the border. And I think we're going to start in on the background of the owl, but we're going to be sticking to this kind of blue, orange, brown, very much a fall color palette for sure. Yeah, same. I'm not really a Rachis red. I love that. That's amazing. There we go. All right. Yeah, this one, I think he was part of their collection, last year, but this one's called Venom. Butterflies, bees. Oh, nice. Oh, on this side? With the butterflies and such? Aw, thanks. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that one, but I knew, like, I wanted to do a reel for this one because I knew that we didn't do the full thing on stream. And I was like, at least it'll be someplace where people can take a look and, you know, if they're following along or whatever else. Honestly, like I said, you know, I joined that Johanna Basford's Your Pages group now that I've kind of switched things around with my, you know, personal Facebook and everything. And it was just the most, like, it was so sweet. Like, people will tag me and message me sometimes when they follow, you know, the tutorial in their post, and it'll be really cool and everything. But I searched up my name because I was just curious in the Johanna Basford Your Pages group. And it popped up that going years back, especially when Rooms of Wonder came out, people were following my tutorials like crazy, and to see them all lined up, like it was practically endless posts going all the way back to when I first joined the community, and people were following, and I was just like, oh, like, thank you. Like, it was just so cool to like see them all together in one place, and it's just like, oh. Me too, Angela. I haven't really posted in there, but I have been browsing through and seeing, you know, what people are doing and everything. And I was just, I guess I can take this off too. This little picture up here has been our inspiration for what we're doing, but I realized we haven't really looked at it, so we'll remove that. There we go. Trying to get Una to stop biting her nails so we can paint them. No, that's fair. That's a hard habit to break. That's a hard habit to break. All right, we're gonna use a little bit more dark brown. Beige sienna. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, it was just like seeing them all at once, all in one place. I was all verklempt. Like, oh, you guys are so sweet. Let's grab a little bit of cream, actually. From 2019? I probably did. There were so many of them. I was just scrolling through. I was just like, oh. All right, we've got a teeny tiny cream. We're gonna put this one in a pencil extender. Aw, you guys are so sweet. daughter doing that in the first place? I mean, I used to as a kid a lot. And my mom tried all kinds of things. Like, you know, you can put that like nail stuff that makes your nails taste bad. For me, it was something that here we go, that's better, that I had to kind of break myself of. Truthfully, kind of once I started streaming, because I wanted my nails to look nicer. So I think a lot of times, especially if you have to change a habit, like it comes with like eating healthier too. Like for me, pain is my incentive to eat better, because when I eat like crap, I hurt. And so that was worth it to me to change my lifestyle. So I think part of it is you have to want to make it better, if that makes sense. Like it's a lot easier to stick with it if you can encourage yourself to do it. So I don't know, maybe some kind of incentive for her. Does she like having her nails painted? Just a little bit of light umber there. What was I doing? I was putting the black in. Who inspired me to join YouTube? So it was kind of funny. Everything just sort of like losing. Exactly. It kind of all sort of tumbled into itself. So I picked up my first Johanna Basford coloring book, 2015, 2016, I can't quite remember. And I started coloring. And it was Enchanted Forest. And I was talking to Steve, I was just like, man, I wish I knew I could see how other people stop biting them. Yeah. I was just like, I wish I could see what other people are doing. I'd love to see how other people are coloring it. So I did a quick search, and that's when I found the Facebook group that I found then. I don't even know if they are a Facebook group anymore. It was many, many years ago, but I joined them, and from there I started posting, and I got a lot of really good feedback, and everybody loved it. And they're like, well, hey, you should make an Instagram. And I was like, okay, cool. We're going to do beige sienna here. I was like, all right, cool, I'll do that. So I did, and I started posting. And when I started posting, then people were like, oh, how did you do that? And so I tried to, explain it. They're like, oh, you should make a video for it. And I was like, oh, okay. So I grabbed one of those large yogurt containers, sat at my dining room table, got it propped up in there, and did a really... It's funny, like it has so many views on it. I think I actually archived it for now, but at the time it really did. And so I did that, and then it kind of grew from there. And when I was in that group, that's actually how Johanna found me. And so then I had that connection with Johanna, and she began to reshare my stuff. I was lucky enough to be kind of on the group of people that she would send out early release books to, which has just been absolutely amazing. And so then people started asking like, hey, how are you doing this? How are you doing that? And so then I did some videos for a while, but yes, sorry, that was the beige sienna. The the editing just like took so long, and the files took up so much space on my very small computer. I was like, how can I do this? I'm using dark umber. How can I do this without, it taking up absolutely so much space? And we had a lot of gamer friends that live streamed, so I had some info about that. And because I didn't know anything about the coloring live streaming community, it wasn't until I started going live, I met Shannon and Kenny and Angela and Belinda and like everybody that kind of pointed me in the direction. And so I started doing the lives, and they just kind of stuck. So it wasn't any one like, I'm going to color and post kind of thing. No, it just sort of all happened. It was, I guess, encouragement from the community, I suppose, is when that started happening. Let's see. Right, Della? Oh, I'm constantly cleaning mine. I'm going to start mine because all the coloring channels I follow pretty much turned into long sponsored ads without much coloring. Oh, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It'd be great to be sponsored at some point, but I think if I ever do sponsored posts, it would probably be more like on the short form content and stuff. I wouldn't be opposed to sponsored YouTube videos where like we just color live. Like when I was kind of wrapping up working with Arteza, that's kind of what I was doing, is rather than doing recorded videos, if we had something new to try out, we usually just did it live. But yeah. Do you post different things on Instagram? Asking because I don't get time. Well, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of, I've started posting whatever I make on YouTube, like the shorts. Yeah, organically, that's the word. Thank you. Oh my gosh, right, Allison? Yeah, for the most part, but there are things like stories and stuff that I post. If you ever want a sneak peek, sorry, I just grabbed the dark umber. I'm just touching up this tree over here. If you ever want a sneak peek at what I'm doing, I post stories a lot of the times. Obviously, I'll reshare things Johanna does, or, you know, other people's coloring pages or whatever else. But I will say Instagram is probably the best way to keep up on the things that I'm doing, as far as like in the moment kind of thing. So like yesterday I posted just a tiny little clip. People on Instagram got to see the work in progress picture here. So yeah. Right, exactly. No, I'm so excited to see what they do. Okay, so that is essentially what we're gonna be doing on the entire border all the way around. Okay, so we're going to be doing this brown all the way around. What I want to do now is, let's see, we've got 45 minutes. Let's, actually, hang on. I'm going to do a poll real quick and you guys can tell me. Yes, oh, the Small Victories Challenge. Yeah, I've been posting those on shorts also. But yes, I do the ones there. We're going to do a poll real quick. And I want you guys to put in, do we want to start on the flowers and leaves or the background? The owl will probably be the last thing we do. Okay. Do we want to hold on, do okay, owl background or leaves and flowers? I should have put this up earlier. There we go. Right, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. Rachel Henderson. No, but I think we both follow each other, and I think we both follow. I've seen her posts a lot. Does she do videos? Because she's one of the, I pop into like the coloring Reddit sometimes. She's one of the few names that I recognize from the Instagram and YouTube community, well, mostly Instagram, that also posts over on Reddit. All right, what do we got here? Oh, leaves and flowers. Oh, it's at 50. Hold on. Oh, it's really close. It's really close. Okay, we're going to let it go for just a little bit longer. Right now, leaves and flowers are winning, but that's almost a 50-50 split right there. I mean, we're going to end up doing all of it, so, you know. I'll let it go till 11:18. Loving the background creation. Thanks, me too. Yeah, I really do like you ever make something? I'm like, I had a plan, but I didn't know what it was going to look like at the end. And when it was done, hi, Kara. I was just like, oh, hey, that looks kind of cool. So channel, she's posting Small Victories color along the small flowers. Oh, cool. I'll have to go double check. Like I said, I've seen her name around a ton, and it's definitely one of the ones I recognize. Okay, I'll wait till 11:18. If you haven't voted yet, go ahead and vote. The longest minute ever, I swear. There we go, 11:18. All right, leaves and flowers win. All right, let's go ahead and dive in then. So here's the thing. Green would not be a color that we want to do. I'm gonna take my rings off. Green would not work because that is not really working in our color palette at all. I don't necessarily want to do all brown because I still want some color. So we're definitely gonna do some blue. There will be some brown. But we're probably going to do kind of that muted blue. It's raining here. Storming yesterday. It's beautiful outside right now. Really way too hot. What's the temperature? Nice to have a change from green. Right? I like to mix it up every now and then, so it's not always the same thing. Let's see. It is currently 87 outside, but it's supposed to rain and thunder this afternoon. So we'll see. No, I think we'll steer pretty much clear from green. I don't expect to really grab any green unless, like, I could get away with cobalt turquoise, but let's look at our color palette here. So 105 blues, browns, sound like a great idea with that background. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I also don't want to do so much that it's going to look like too chaotic and too busy. So I think I want to limit the leaves and flowers to kind of like 2 colors, right? Well, we were talking about that on stream last time. By the time I finish this, because we're going to do the whole thing on stream, short of, you know, what I catch up on, we're gonna finish it all the way through. Jade green is kind of a bluer one. Let's go ahead and get out our pencils here. So we're going to grab, I'm gonna take out these headphones, they bother me. For the owl in the background. So I'm still probably gonna do, I was thinking of like a really dark brown, which is why I'm thinking that I need to get more of that dark umber too. I think we're gonna do a really dark brown and this same kind of muted blue. And then I think that it'll really pop if I do the owl in the kind of yellowish tones. So we'll really only have yellow and then pop, because think of how cool his eyes would be in like a really good yellow, right? Pull some of those into leaves going into the frame of the background. Ooh, yeah, that could work too. There's definitely going to be some brown ones, some darker brown ones, some lighter brown ones, but let's go ahead and look at what we have, because we don't want to just do them all the same blue color. So we're going to grab the jade green, which is the 1021. Muted turquoise will go in the pile. Let's see, here we can zoom out just a little bit so you can see. So jade green, muted turquoise. I don't want to grab cobalt turquoise unless we absolutely have to. I don't want to do anything that's like a rich blue. So let's grab powder blue. Let's see, that's cloud blue. Powder blue is PC 1087. Okay, we're definitely going to do some indigo. Okay, we've got that muted turquoise. Let's grab slate gray, which is 936. Again, one of a baby pencils. Okay, so indigo. Let's also grab, I don't want to do anything too vibrant. And we may make some of these kind of muted on our own. In fact, let's grab cool gray 50%. We're going to be layering over the top of that, I think. Cool gray 50%, cool gray 20%. Sorry, that was my head. Okay, so we've got those. Let's grab Mediterranean blue. That would be good. So that's 1022. Yeah, slate gray, 936. Metallic golden owl. We're kind of going more for autumn. I feel like it would kind of throw off the balance if we were to do full-blown metallic. Okay, so Mediterranean blue. We've got indigo. Don't want to do denim. That's too vibrant. We can use Copenhagen blue as our backup blue if we need something darker. That's going to be number 906, Copenhagen blue. Okay. Let's grab some black grape in case we need a shadowing color. Let's see, it's next to the dioxazine. There we go. Black grape, 996. Okay. Ooh, and periwinkle. Periwinkle would be good. That is number 1025. Here we go. Okay. That'll be it for our blues. Then we've got our browns. Chestnut is a little bit of a reddish color. I'm going to get it and we will set it aside. Let's see. Chestnut's going to be with the reds. Let's see. Chestnut is number 1081. Tuscan red or mahogany. Maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna do, usually what happens is I pick up the colors I want, and then as I'm getting them laid out, then I think, okay, let's go ahead and add in such and such. Let's grab putty beige. I love putty beige, especially for skin tone. With our, there goes my sharpener. With our Franken pencil here. Okay, putty beige. Yeah, black raspberry. Sorry, I just realized my hand was hitting the mic. I didn't mean to do that. Black raspberry is, let's see, Next here, it's another itty baby. Oh yeah, always. That's pretty much normal for us here in Texas. Surprisingly, it has been a fairly mild, mild heat. Okay, we'll go ahead and grab chocolate. That one's a maybe. One's a maybe. We're gonna get this one. I think is the espresso. I think we have, yeah, we got sepia out already. Okay, got the beige sienna, light umber, dark brown, black, and of course our dark umber. It is, yeah. I mean, it's easier sometimes, I think, when you have like a color card, but no, I'm just trying to see all the colors in my head. Let's grab a French gray 90%, unless, do I have that out already? No, I don't think so. French gray 90. Oh, it's itty bitty. We are probably going to need a backup French gray 90 pretty soon. No one can say I don't get the most out of my pencils, because that's a baby. It's just a baby. Yeah, exactly. All right. So yeah, 90% French gray, and ooh, let's get ginger root. There we go. Ginger root. Let's get peach beige. Peach beige is number 1085. By the way, thank you guys for making me put away my pencils. It has been much easier. Go figure. It has been much easier to find things. And then we'll hold on to our cream. I should. Let's pull out our backup drawers here. They're very handy. I specifically pulled all my drawers out because I knew that if we were doing this today, I was probably gonna need it. Okay, so I know I've got it on the paper, but it's not scratching or anything. We're good. Okay, so we have got our yellows to reds, purples to blues, blue to greens. All right, here we go. French gray 90, that's sepia. Yeah, French gray 90, we got it. We'll put this one right over here. Are there any other teeny tiny ones? I know I've got an extra cream in the case. I don't think we'll use up that black raspberry, but yeah, that French gray was on its last leg there. But hey, it's impressive. He did his best. There we go. Yeah, see, these are the other deco orange I have. I have like 3 of them. Right? Yeah, I only know that it's French gray. Sometimes I have to test it a little bit, but there's a reason I keep things organized in the drawers, because when I completely lose the name or number on the pencil, yeah. Okay. All right. So how are we doing on time? We're definitely, I'm going to try and get as much done as we can before we go. Sounds good. Thanks for being here. All right. So let's start with, we have some flowers here. I don't want to do the flowers yet. Let's start with here, because once we start to see the balance of the leaves, that will tell me what we can do for the flowers. We might even add 2 and back. I have 2. So this new French gray, and then I have another backup. I've got this one plus another French gray. So, or no, wait, that was sepia. No, this is the last French gray. I just don't use it super often because a lot of these are so similar. They can be kind of interchangeable. So we've got espresso and sepia, right? Now, I don't know if you guys can see this. This is the way that I see color. But when it comes to espresso and sepia, these are a warmer dark one. They're very similar, but what I see in these is a slight yellowish tint to it, especially the sepia. Espresso has some, not as much as this one, but the espresso is a little bit darker than the sepia. With the dark umber, This is more of a warmer brown, with it being kind of in the reddish family, but it is the darkest of all the browns, which is why I use it so often. Then you have dark brown itself, which actually is kind of, I can see a little bit of red and also a little bit of yellow, especially when it's next to it. And this is why when I do my color charts, because I know, Sarah Renee Clark just came out with those swatching cards. I know a lot of people like the cards, but I like to be able to see all of my colors right next to each other because it helps me to see their color families. It's the same way, and I've explained it before, with the French grays and the warm grays and the cool grays, right? So you've got French gray 90 all the way down to French gray. Here, we're actually just going to mark this a little bit. Okay. So from here to here are the French grays, right? With a woody touch. Yeah. An open stock purchase, 90% gray with 2 deco pinks, 2 deco yellows, very aesthetically pleasing, right? Oh, I can imagine. Closely similar. Yeah. It is. Yeah. You can find this one, this blank one. And in fact, some of the color orders have changed over the years if companies are releasing new pencils or whatever. So I haven't updated any charts in a while because, let's be honest, I barely have any time. But if it is newer, I've started adding this one. I put as 2024 edition. This is the most recent one. And that is because I was using an older organization of the colors. And finally, I was like, I really want these in the order I want them in. And so this one is the 2024 edition. So you'll see it on there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's all on there. And I do have blank ones too, if you wanted to do your own. Well, there's not one up there that I have or whatever else, but honestly, I just make these on Excel. So I don't sell them or anything. I feel like it wouldn't be right for me to sell them. Yes, I put them on order, but they're not my pencils. I didn't choose these colors, and this is something I would have made for myself anyway. So I've never really felt right charging for these in particular. I do have like a buy me a coffee thing, but like nobody has to do that, like at all. It's just, I would have already made these for myself. Which is, again, probably why I haven't updated any, because I haven't bought any new pencils in a while. All right, so from here to here is French gray. From here to here are the warm grays. And then from here to here are the cool grays. And if you didn't know this already, the primary colors on a traditional color wheel, do I have my color wheel out here? Go figure, I don't. On the traditional color wheel are yellow, red, and blue. And that's exactly what these grays are. So French gray is gray plus yellow. Warm gray is gray plus red, and cool gray is gray plus blue. So they're actually, I love the Prismacolor grays because they do this red, yellow, blue collection of them. So when I say that I see yellow in it or I see blue in it, that's what I mean. So the dark umber is the more red of all the browns. It's also darker than all the other browns. But that's what I say when I say I see color within them. See the retired, new colors too. I'll have to get a new chart. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, for the purple one. Yeah, because I still have them. And I know a lot of people do too. So yes, I included the orchid, lavender, lilac, and amethyst in the list. I was like, I still have them and I still use them. And I have a couple backups of each. So I'm not going to run out of them. I don't use them as often. I'm like, I want them to be on the chart because although they are similar, like orchid and lavender are very different to me. In fact, lavender is closer to hot pink to me than it is orchid, but they're very different. Orchid and lilac look a lot alike. And then you have lilac and amethyst, still two very different ones. So yeah, they get their own spot. Right, same, it drives me nuts. I have the swatch decks and just divide each card into the color families usually fit. Oh, very cool. Of course. I found a color chart earlier as I'm progressing. I'm also learning some importance. Yeah, it really helps when you're trying to see the variations in color. But I'm a bit of a color nerd like that, and I like to be able to see what's blue, what's yellow, what's red, that kind of thing. Okay, I keep talking. Let's get some coloring done before we run out of time. So let's do, like I said, we've got all of the browns and blues. Let's start with what I want. I know I want to be brown. We're going to go with dark brown to begin with. Now, I'm going to do something, I hope you guys don't get dizzy or anything, but it is easier for me in the way that I control my hands if I'm planning on coloring this away, if I can move up and down versus having to turn my hand and go like this. So I spin to my heart's content. I need a lazy Susan for my pages. Yeah, it really does, especially when you're looking for colors rather than starting to be like, oh, no, wait, I don't like that color. Actually, I think we need to do an angle so I can still remember my light sources. With hex, does anyone know who has these? Oh, doesn't Corey have some hex color charts? I think Claire has color charts and she does color family charts, but I think hers are square as well. If you go exclamation point Corey with an I think possibly, yeah. Exclamation point K-O-R-I in chat, and it should pull up Corey's YouTube link, which I think you'll be able to find everything you need from there. Hi, Connie. Yes, perfect. She may have gotten them from somewhere else. Yeah, she's really good about her videos. She might even have a video on color charts. But yeah, Claire and I both do squares. Claire does color families, and yeah. Exactly. So yeah, Corey is a great place to start. Shannon's gonna go double check real quick. All right, so let's just start. We've got dark brown. We're just gonna dive straight in. But yeah, I wanna say Corey has hex ones. I know there's someone else that does, but I am drawing a blank. It's so hard to remember all. Sounds good, Angela. Thank you for being here. But yeah, no, I love my color charts. And I feel bad because on the website I say, oh, these color charts are coming soon. Among all the things I have on my to-do list, like color charts are not even on my radar at the moment. So if you have been impatiently waiting for me to be like, hey, when is she going to get these done? I honestly don't know. Sometime, at some point. I will say I already have the color page for next month already drawn. Being stuck in bed with COVID has its perks. So I was able to get some drawing done through all the coughing. But it is going to be I don't have my iPad in here to show you guys, but it's going to be a mushroom lighthouse. It's super, super cute. Ah, perfect. Thank you, Shannon. Sounds good, Josephine. Thanks for being here. Only had COVID once. You know, we got it. We were pretty good. Like, Steve's had it like 4 times. I don't know. I actually don't do much well, I don't do any Coco Wyo. I heard there was some controversy about well, I won't go into it, but there was just some controversy stuff that I didn't really agree with. And not to mention, Coco Wyo really isn't my style. I mean, you guys know me. Johanna is my ultimate favorite, and you could not get any further away from Coco Wyo than you do with Johanna. Just, I like the more intricate ones, but it's worth checking out. And I know Coco Wyo is really popular over on TikTok. That's part of the reason, TikTok. That's part of the reason why I did the sticker effect in the book here, because they're doing a lot. Check this channel. She has several hex charts. I'm pretty sure that's where several folks get them. Oh, perfect. Because I did the sticker ones based on that that trend. Have I done this one yet? Absolutely not. Oh, I forgot to share with you guys. You guys probably saw it on there, but I did this one. I didn't film it. I just took a picture and posted it afterwards. But she finished. I had a lot of fun with that one. I did that one in Prismacolors. But yeah, I love this book so much. She did such a good job. I'm always so pleased to see her books come out. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I think there's some AI stuff going on with Coco Wyo, and then there was like some other things. Anyway, it's all the whole thing. I'm sure that if you took a deep dive on TikTok, you could probably find it. I was smart today though, because I know that I usually run out of water before stream ends. So I brought 2. Aw, thanks. There we go. Yeah, I really loved her books. And that was one that I didn't, I don't know if Britt's here, but she made a comment that I absolutely loved, where she was saying, she said, something, I don't have it in front of me here, but it was something along the lines of, I'm so glad to see you coloring for yourself and enjoying it versus needing to make a video. And sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes I do enjoy doing that because I don't have to be thinking about, you know, grabbing the clip or the editing that's going to come afterwards. Sometimes it's just really nice to just get lost in the coloring and just, you know, do it for myself. Sure, I post it later, but you know. Okay, then we're gonna go ahead and grab the peach beige. We're gonna do the peach beige for this one, or do I wanna do putty beige? Let's actually do putty beige. She really is. Yeah, she picked right up on that. Oh, that's right, we were talking about COVID. I get so distracted. We're gonna do putty beige instead, actually. But yeah, Steve's had it like 4 times. As a family, we all got it when Omicron came through the 2nd time, which was the least horrendous of all of the versions. And then most recently when we picked it up, pretty sure we got it from Steve's work because his coworkers were just dropping like flies. Perfect, yeah. Mini Mini by Gabby, well, similar. Oh, I don't know. I haven't actually heard of that one. Yeah, they prescribed me an antiviral that made it all a lot better. It worked wonders on Steve too, and amazingly, the kids skated out. We were really good about isolating and locking down and wearing masks around the house, and little Steve was just getting over a strep throat infection, and so we were like, we do not need him getting sick again. So we were very pleased when we came out of it on the other side and everybody was all good to go. All right, so now I want to grab espresso because now that I can see how it is, I want to darken up these leaves just a bit. Now obviously we're not going to get super far on this page today. You know, we did a little bit. It's just, like I said, this whole background took me like 4 hours without interruptions, which is why it's hard to do them on stream sometime. So I won't go super far. Like whatever we've colored today, if it's duplicate somewhere else, I'll do that. But I don't even know if I want to do duplicate colors on the other side because I feel like it makes it more interesting to the eye when the leaves aren't all colored the same. But one thing that I will probably try and get caught up on if I have time is doing the background on the other side. Thanks, Jeanette. Yeah, it was, in fact, we had taken little Steve to his doctor to talk about getting the blood work done. And she was very impressed with our capabilities to self-isolate and, you know, be responsible with it and everything. My coloring queries to ask you, hey, no, that works. That is just fine. I know it's been harder because we've only been streaming once a week, but it definitely has allowed me time to push out more content, on, you know, the other platforms and whatnot, and be able to, you know, like, because even when school started, like I would have had to cancel stream for that day. Like it's just, things are chaotically enough and everybody gets sick often enough that once a week seems to be probably what's going to be best for us. All right, peach beige, unless things change later on. But the fact of the matter is now that the kids are getting older, they are going to be having more and more activities, you know, things where they need chaperones, all of that. So yeah, 'tis what it is, I suppose. All right, we're going to grab a little bit of our black raspberry. Okay, black raspberry. Plus, I feel like I have so much more. See, the red still kind of works a little bit with this. I'll probably use a little bit. I don't want it too red. So I'm probably going to use maybe a little bit of a more orangey color on this. But I always got plenty to talk about when I come back after a week. All the stories. Okay, to go on top of that, because that was a little bit more than I wanted. I don't want to do artichoke because it's a little too green. Let's get the... Do I want to get sand? Actually, we're going to bring sand into this. Oh, nice. Yeah, I like that. All right, so I used a little bit of sand here. So I don't want it to be like super bright red. but I also don't want it to lose its contrast. So we're actually going to go back in with the dark umber. You know, I am just tempted to leave to go pick up the kids early today. Not pick up the kids early, but leave earlier to go pick up the kids so that I can swing by that other Hobby Lobby and get more of the dark umber because I definitely need it. Because I will not be surprised if we use this entire pencil. Did you get just normal Enchanted Forest, or did you get the anniversary edition? Because that's what this one is in, is the anniversary edition. So what you'll be looking for is this emblem. And the other ones, oh, here they are. Go figure, I didn't put them away from last time. Which ones? Not this one. There we go. Here it is. Oof. Oh, it is the 10-year edition. Huh. Well, that's weird. It doesn't have the foldouts in it? Honestly, if you bought it specifically for the foldouts, I kind of would return it. Maybe order a US one. Of course, I know that you're out of country. Gosh, and ordering US stuff is gonna get, anyway, that's the whole thing. Yeah, I don't know why, but I just realized the cover was different. In my head, I registered, oh yeah, that's the cover, it's always been on there. No, this is the original. Ooh, my brain. Fun fact, this was my very first book. And so the first thing I colored, oh, there's that one too. I was so proud of this background. Now I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, you know what? We should do this page again. I did it in Prismacolors, but we should do this page again with the same color palette, but with the things that we have learned over the years. Thanks. Ah, this was my first colored one, and this was me saying, man, I wish I could see what other people were doing. I used silver here. But yeah, this was my first official adult coloring. I have since colored this dragonfly multiple times. Sorry, we're on a side quest. Multiple times. This was one of them. This was after I started getting more adventurous with, yeah, it was the least intimidating, right? Just a single dragonfly. So I don't recall when I did this one. There's still things about it that I would change as far as, you know, the background and everything. Yeah, it was the least intimidating. Exactly. Let's see. That one was an early one. But yeah, this was my very first one. Did that one also. It's another one. See, just straight up. I wasn't following any kind of like color theory or anything. But yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I think it is too. Needless to say, we've come a distance. From a distance. There we go. Okay, let's see. So let's use, so that we can stay consistent, let's use a little bit of the black raspberry here. Use some of the eggshell. Is it eggshell? Yes. No, sand. Sand was what I used. There we go. And then let's grab our espresso from a distance, right? What is that even from? It's got to be like a 90s one. That's not like Amy Grant, is it? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I need to break out some Amy Grant. You know, I was thinking about that the other day. Music that I used to listen to all the time. Now, I listen to Amy Grant because my mom listened to Amy Grant. Also had a thing for Leanne Rimes with her blue song. Oh, Bette Midler. Yeah. Bette, yeah. Ah, perfect. You know what's funny, Karis? I actually forgot to put it in an email to Johanna. I had someone message me the other day, and I'm pretty sure they got a fake book. Like, she showed me some pictures. So I'm going to put it all together and send it off to Johanna. Okay, let's see. Let's do darker for this one in the back. Let's go ahead and do... Let's actually go ahead and do chocolate. Oh, yeah. Love that movie, but also so sad. So sad. Also, I find it funny that the girl who plays young Bette Midler is Amy Farrah Fowler. Right, yeah. Sometimes it feels great to kind of go out of the box with color choices when it comes to leaves and flowers. One of the things I did for myself one time is I forced myself to choose colors I don't usually use. And that one was neon. So I did an entire page in neon. But it's the same thing with skin tone. Like, I'll do an obscure skin tone just to kind of mix it up a little bit. Okay, so there's the chocolate. And then we're going to grab the dark umber, unsurprisingly. Fake Sparrow. It was really bad. Yeah, it was. She sent me some of the pictures because I'm terrible with memory. I would need to pull up the messages to look. But the book that she ordered was one that Johanna had sent directly to me. So I had that to compare. And the inside publication was different. It was marked that the book was printed in China. Now, I'm pretty sure, and the wording was a little bit different too. And the inside cover didn't have all the illustrations on the inside cover. But I was just like, printed in China, I'm pretty sure that's not accurate because we've had a lot of conversations about the printers that she uses. All of them are printed in China? Not mine. Mine isn't. Which one was it? Was it Worlds of Wonder? It might have been Worlds of Wonder. Yeah, not mine. This one is printed in the United States. Yeah, this was the book. She had one that was Worlds of Wonder. So hers was printed in China. The number here was much shorter and the wording was different from here. Is that a new copy? No, this is one of the original ones, copyright 2021. But even the wording had changed. Let me see if I've got, hold on, we're going on another side quest. We can go a little bit late today. It's fine. Let's see, Worlds of Wonder. So I know I've got a couple copies here. At least I'm pretty sure I do. Lost Ocean, Worlds of Wonder. Here we go. Here's another one. This one is the UK version of the book, and it's printed in China. Okay, so this is the UK version. Well, it does say printed and bound in China by Top and Leaf. Hang on, I want to look at that picture. I'm not going to show you guys the picture because it was where is my phone? Oh, there it is. I'm not going to show you guys the picture because it was a private message, but let me pull it up now because now I'm really wondering. I should have compared it to my UK version. Let's see. Okay, so hers says imprint of Penguin House. Anyway, that one was mine. Hang on, sorry, I know we're getting distracted. Yeah, hers is completely different, but I'm gonna do some more research then. Shannon, I might message you later. Shannon, can you take a picture of the inside of your copy of World of Flowers? So hers didn't have any of this, and I've got it in both my UK version and my US version, right? So hers didn't have any of this. It was completely blank. It was completely blank, and this area in here was completely different on both of them. So could you do me a favor, and actually anybody that's doing this, because I don't want to bother Johanna with this if it's not actually a fake one. If I can find some corroborating ones from you guys, I guess I assumed it was fake because it was different than both of my copies. If you've bought a more recent one, can you let me know? It's this area and this. Can you send me a picture of what your printing information looks like? Because if it looks the same as hers, because everything else looked okay, but she also had said that the paper was much more slick. And I was just like, my stuff's pretty good, but with a difference in paper versus this. So if you guys have bought a more recent version, because I bought these when they came out. So one was printed UK and one was printed US. There's also a few small differences, but yeah. Let me know, because now I'm really curious. Like I said, I haven't sent the info off yet, but now I'm kind of glad that I haven't, because if that's just the way things are now, and I don't want to give out incorrect information. It's US. The new one I just bought is China, and the paper is slick. Oh, interesting. Yeah, because she shared with me the listing that she bought it from, and it was a listing that I would have trusted to buy. I probably wouldn't have thought anything of it. Shannon, does yours have the pattern printed on the inside dust jacket kind of thing? Look at Magical Worlds. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I've got 3 copies of Magical Worlds. I think I have all US versions for Magical Worlds. Let's see. Okay, so that has printing on it. It does say printed in China. Did they switch up new ones then? Let me look at my Rooms of Wonder. I mean, I know that they did have to change things, but still. Well, let's see. This is another Worlds of Wonder. Sorry, we're going on a side quest. Like I said, we can go a little bit later today. It's fine. The kids aren't here. It's all good. Okay. I don't know when I bought this one, but this one is also printed in the US. Bye, Chrissy. Thank you for being here. Okay. Rooms of Wonder. Penguin. Oh, see, this one says first printing too. Hang on. Let's get this in focus. All right. So this one says your 10th anniversary is printed in China. But I mean, the paper feels fine. How's the paper in your 10th anniversary? So this one says first printing. That's Rooms of Wonder, printed in China. This one is a UK version of Rooms of Wonder. Okay, first printing. This one is printed in the United States. That's really interesting, because these are both, says the same thing. Where was yours printed? Enchanted is very slick. Printed in China. Okay, so printed in the United States. Printed in the United States. Okay. This is the UK version. I love that page. That was good. Sorry, distracted. Let's see. Printed and bound in China by Top and Li Feng. Okay, let's look at Small Victories. Printed in China. Maybe I'm wrong then. I'll have to message her directly after she... I'm so glad I hadn't messaged Johanna yet. I wouldn't want to bother with something that was incorrect. By Top and Ling Feng. Okay. Let me grab this one. See, I guess I just assumed. See, and this one's got the dust jacket. Because I have both of my copies of Worlds of Wonder, but I did get them early on. Okay, so this one is the new one. Let's see. Copyright 2015, 2025. This one is also printed in China, but by a different company. It says printed in China by CNC Offset Printing Company Ltd. See, the only other thing that made me think that hers was a fake was because, Magical Worlds of Wonder. Hers didn't have, that's what one of yours says, hers didn't have any of this. So I don't know if I missed it already. Does anybody else's copy of Worlds of Wonder not have the design on the inside cover? See, this is good. Well, this is like a hive mind. We're like bouncing ideas off each other, trying to sleuth this. Because I was assuming that that one was fake. I have found, like, I ordered a Korean copy. The Penguin ones were UK. Well, yeah. I, way back in the day, when I first started coloring, I ordered a Korean version of Enchanted Forest, and it was most definitely a knockoff because, like, pages were out of order and printed upside down. Like, it was awful. Doesn't it? Yeah, so mine is like all attached, so it doesn't have a removable dust jacket like Enchanted Forest does. It has the fold over, but still it does have all the imagery on the inside cover. Let me... Oh, Allison, you sent photos. Let me see yours. Oh, and yours says 7th printing. See, I'm pretty sure this person's didn't say it. Sorry, we really are on a side quest, people. Oh, cool. Carrie, you sent a photo. Let's see. Yep, that's the same one I've got, the by CNC Offset. Okay. Let me see. Let me look up her original picture again real quick. Let's see. Okay, so... Okay, I think this is okay to show because it doesn't have any information on her. Okay, so this is what hers looks like. You see how that's blank? New cover of World of Flowers doesn't have the flip out cover. But right, so that seems weird, doesn't it, in comparison to... I mean, at the very least, I could always send the pictures to Johanna and get some clarification. So if we can know, like in newer ones, maybe not to expect the extra stuff. Like, I don't know why they wouldn't do it. Like, maybe it's a cost thing. Okay, here, I think I can show you this one too. Right, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, it looked a little funky, right? Okay, so this was the inside of hers, and this is where it threw me, where it says, hang on, here we go. Okay, so it has the correct ISBN number. I'm not going to read through all this, but I feel like the word, if I remember correctly, the wording was off. But look where it says 910. Most of these have more than just 2 numbers, you know? I don't have any that just have 2 numbers. I mean, this is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10. I mean, I don't know what this one is because it's not the ISBN number, but it says printed in US 3rd edition. It has a dust jacket design. See, that was my biggest thing, was I was like, there's no cover, no design in the cover. Okay. New World of Flowers only has 2 numbers. Okay. Okay, so maybe that inside is enough, but yeah. Okay, if somebody is watching this back and you have Worlds of Wonder and you have one that doesn't have a design on the inside cover, message me, because I wanna see if everybody else is having a thing. So dark, and you cleaned up the scan, converted to black and white, it'll darken the line. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was the only thing. Like, because with all of this information, I could easily say, oh, I was wrong. But the fact that it doesn't have the design on the inside cover, like, I've never not known. You tell I've got a lot of Johanna books. I've never not known the books to not have the designs on the inside covers. You might have a lot of Johanna books. Has a dust jacket, 2021, printed in the USA. Yeah. See, that's the only thing. All right, well, maybe I won't feel too bad, because at the very least, I could send her the pages and be like, hey, that book, but there's my World of Flowers. And you said World of Flowers doesn't have the printing? And did you say yours was a newer one? Yeah, maybe I can just message her and be like, hey, people in the community, paper is totally different. People in the community are curious. Like, we know that the printers have changed, but if we have a book that doesn't have this, I have an old one and the new one. Maybe a pics of that book that wouldn't give away private info. I'll poke around between stuff. I do paid research and used to... Oh, really? Interesting. Well, I think, honestly, the best thing to do, because, like, part of me is like, she's a very busy lady, and I don't want to bother her with that. But if we have enough question marks, I mean, like, we need to figure out what's fake and what's not. I can just be like, hey, so we found these things. Could you just give us a little insight? And that way we don't need to worry about it or actually worry about it or whatever else. Oh, and Kara, yours was a recent order. Okay. Let's see, where'd Shannon go? Oh, yeah, you do have... Let's see, top is new, bottom one is old. So, yeah, it still has the flower... Oh, but I see with just the 2 numbers. Interesting. You know, it's funny. I've never really thought about, like, of course, the cover changes for the anniversary edition, but I've never really thought about how it changes throughout the years. Actually, it doesn't have the flip cover. Okay. Yeah, I think to avoid any confusion, I think we're going to be better off just going straight to the source. I'll put together some pictures and be like, hey, help? We're very confused. Okay, I'm gonna at least finish these leaves before we go. Like I said, side quest. Right, no, it is nice. It is nice that, yeah, I'm able to get in contact with her when we're like, oh, hey, whatever. But, nah, yeah, we'll get the inside scoop, and we will get to the bottom of our sleuthing. Just call me Emily Holmes. Wait, isn't Emily Holmes somebody's actual name? Drop things like a dust jacket, flip cover, foil printing on covers, future printings. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's what I thought, Allison. I mean, when we talked about it in the end, she was like, well, what should I do? And I was just like, well, honestly, we've got enough info to send to Johanna. I was just like, if you're not, you know, if were it me, I would probably just do a return for it. So she might have already even filed the return for it and then, you know, get a replacement. But that was the other thing is, like, I looked at the listing she sent me, and that was directly from like the Johanna Basfer one. So theoretically it should be legit. But if it's just a matter of them cutting costs and not wanting to print as much stuff, then, you know, that's one thing. That is a shame, though. That is a shame, because I feel like that takes away from the integrity of the book. And it's not a Johanna thing. Like, it's just what the printers do. Colorado. Okay, I will say I don't have her personal phone number, and given how big of an illustrator she is, I think that's probably wise not to hand out her phone number. Well, and I usually email her too, because she gets so many messages on Instagram. Things can get buried really fast. It's a recent order you have from Amazon? Okay. You never imagine it could happen with such big publishers. You know, you'd be surprised. Like I said, I had ordered a Korean version for a friend that I was going to send, and it was completely fake, like totally. Like it was scanned in. I'm using black, by the way. It was scanned in. Pages were upside down. Everything was completely out of order. The double page spread of the dragons in the background were stapled to it in the middle, so you couldn't even like fold it out completely. Like it was a whole thing. And so this was before Johanna and I had talked much, but I sent it to her and I was like, she's like, oh, yeah, that's not... that's not sanctioned. So she's like, oh yeah, I'll send it over and change. Because there's, I mean, the fact of the matter is there really isn't a ton that she can do, but at the very least, it will help keep us all informed so we can figure out like, okay, well, what's legit, what's not. Printer mistakes, sometimes printing process. Yes, that too. And we all know that from, you know, when she released her books and there were those lines, what was it? Rooms of Wonder. And there were the lines on everything. So yeah, I will say though, if I ever end up putting out my own book, I have got so much information on what is received well, what us as coloring community members likes. So pretty sure those ones, they're not necessarily going to be fake, but they don't come directly from whoever usually ships out books. Usually I think those are like third-party things because they don't actually publish spiral-bound books. Johanna has specifically said that she doesn't because the cost will go up and she wants to try and keep the cost of her books as budget-friendly as possible. The only one that I have from China was my very first book, and that's Secret Garden. It does have the Dust Jacket, and the year is 2013. Yeah. Oh, that's fine. I think she was just making sure I could see it. Sounds good, Jen. Thanks for being here. Yeah, anybody that's leaving, I'll see you next week. I know it seems like so long, and not nearly enough time to get anything done, but we go where we can. I'd rather do this than have to quit altogether, so, you know, we squeeze in where we can. And that's partially why, like, I did that reel when I was catching up on this side, because I was like, I know we can't physically do everything on stream. So at the very least, we've got this going for us. Okay. All right. Well, it's a good start on the leaves and everything. I'm not going to work on the leaves and flowers anymore until we're together again, but I am going to try and get the border done and this other side. I say try. I'm behind on a number of things. But this one's a little too big to color in the car. Well, but I mean, if it's just changing, then, you know, it is what it is. But I will put together an email and see. I might not hear from her a little bit. She usually does her admin work on Thursdays, so I probably won't hear from her until next week or the following week, depending on how occupied she is. I feel so silly. We hardly got anything done. We colored here and here, but we always have so much to talk about. But we did a few things, so if you're following along, it's enough to kind of maybe keep going with your own theme and everyone. Rooms of Wonder, but not Magic Worlds. Gotcha. So if I want to order Spiral Bound Worlds of Wonder Amazon, I should double check or hold off on that. It's not saying that it's going to be a fake book. All it is that it's not like if you go to a normal listing for the book and up at the top of the listing where it says who it's selling from, you want to look to make sure that it says Johanna Basford. Then click on her name and it will take you to everything that she is selling through herself. Basically, I would say go ahead and order it, but just always double check who the seller is. Hi, Nessa. Always double check who your seller is. And worst case scenario, it's Amazon. It's super easy to return stuff on Amazon. It says Johanna at the top. Then yeah, possibly. You could, like I said, you could always try it, and if you get it and you're like, there's something wrong with this, I would say just always return it. Alternatively, you could, as Shannon does, spiral bind it yourself, but I don't have any of those machines, so that would be hard. Or number two, I have gotten things spiral bound before. Where we lived previously, there was a local print shop. See, we just need to do like streams where we talk all things Johanna. There was a local print shop where I took my books in and got them spiral bound. Where is my... I have an older version of Secret Garden that's also spiral bound, but I don't know where that is. So I got Lost Ocean spiral bound, and it wasn't from like Office Depot or anything like that. Like I said, it was a local place, so I was able to be a little bit more specific. So the way that it works when books get spiral bound, and if you've seen Shannon do hers, spiral so I can color a bit. See, no, and that's fabulous. I'll tell you here in a second why it didn't really work for me, but I know that it can. So if you've watched Shannon do it, essentially the idea is they take the normal book, and you can see here where the binding is. Now this is that anniversary edition. This is thread bound and glue bound, which is freaking fabulous. But basically what they do is they put it in their machine and they cut it. Now, if they're not careful, they may cut it too far in. So whenever you go to get your spiral bound, make sure it's a place where you can talk to the person doing it and be like, hey, look, there are images in this book and I want to do my best not to have them cut off. Now, in Johanna's later books, she's really good about giving space in the middle because a lot of people were having an issue with that. But essentially, you want them to have a cut off as little of the binding as possible, right? So let's say they cut it off successfully right there. What you also need to take into account is now they need to punch it, right? Which means it's going to go in probably about here with the punches, which is what happens here. So one of the things on here is, I don't know if you can see, they punched it a little too close to the edge and it has kind of come out a little bit, right? So that's something to keep in mind. I really like the coil binding because I feel like the pages turn easier. But like I said, what you'll find when things are spiral bound is the binding will go into the image. And again, with her newer books, let's see, Worlds of Wonder maybe? Is that a good example? Let's see. She tries to leave some space. Some of these are closer, but she tries to leave space. So that shouldn't be as much of an issue. So I liked to take this book with me, this Lost Ocean, because I would travel with it with the Staedtler fine liners. But this worked out pretty well. So I got this one spiral bound and I was like, okay, cool. This is a nice little travel one for me. But here's the thing. I don't bring my books with me places very often. Most of the time I'm coloring at my desk. And so what was easier, I'm like, oh, they're spiral bound, so I can go like this. But now this is on the table. And I have nearly ruined many a pages. So I had another idea. I'm like, okay, well, I like to flip it around. So how can I protect my pages, right? Incoming spiral binding 2.0. So the difference that I did on this one, you can see, now granted, Lost Ocean had different papers, so it was already a little bit thinner. Okay, so here we go. This is Enchanted Forest. Okay, so that's Lost Ocean. This is how Enchanted Forest. Oh, no, the planners are. The planners are. No. It's only the coloring books that wasn't in like her original plan. So it's usually a third party that dispenses. So that's not to say that the books are fake that come there. Odds are they're probably not, unless somebody has a book that says they are. What probably is that they have the books and then they sell through. But yeah, I guess I'm not saying that I know for sure that the books are fake. But what I do know is that Johanna has specifically said she doesn't do hardback, she doesn't do spiral, because that would knock the price up too high. They are available, but that doesn't mean that it's fake. It just means that one didn't come directly from her. So like I said, go ahead and test it out. And if it is fake, then feel free to return it. Like I said, Amazon is great about that. So Enchanted Forest, and you can see the thickness difference. And the reason for that is because I was like, okay, I need to protect the front cover of the book. I need to protect the inside pages. So what I did is I had them add a clear plastic to the front of it to protect the front cover, which is fabulous. Usually you can just tell by the printing if the paper is absolutely terrible, if the paper is not the right color. That water's empty. If the paper is not the right color, so like for instance, I would be incredibly surprised if I saw an Enchanted Forest with the same color paper as Lost Ocean. Lost Ocean is notoriously the brightest and whitest book she has ever released. Clearly, these are two very different papers. So if I were to say get an Enchanted Forest with color like this, I'd be like, yeah, nah, brah, That's not right, unless there was something to let us know that Enchanted Forest is getting printed differently. Enchanted Forest has ivory. Lost Ocean, bright white. So then what I did is I got tracing paper, and I personally cut the tracing paper. I didn't have them do it because I wasn't sure how much they were going to be willing to do for me. But I got the tracing paper, and then I, by myself, because that's the other thing, is I really wanted to make sure they didn't mix up the pages. So after they cut off the edge, I had them give the pages back to me, so then I could insert the tracing paper and make sure that all the pages were in the right order. So all they had to do was take it over and punch it. I'd feel a lot better doing it myself, and I might honestly do it more myself if I had my own. So I did tracing paper in between the pages, which actually it does work well to protect it, but this is where the problem was. Let's see, is this a good example? No. For pages that I worked a long time on, okay, so I did this hedgehog, right? And so because I have the tracing paper, I'm like, oh, surely that will protect the other page. This will take care of it. Oh, good. Yes, yes, yes. But the issue is, I might try it with thicker paper next time, but the thicker the paper, the thicker the book. Keep that in mind. But the tracing paper that I put here, because I had it turned around and I would shift it on the desk, it was starting to rip out from it. So it did work to a degree because it did protect the pages, but tracing paper just does not hold up well to being flipped all the way around. So were you to do that, oh, I did this one all in fine liners. If you were to do that, then I would just recommend choosing a paper that's a little bit tougher. I did this one at a Barnes & Noble. This is another early one. Oh, there's my second version of the Dragonfly that I did. But yeah, her later books are more better. They're better for binding because she leaves more space in it. So do you know the freezer paper that quilters use that would work instead of tracing paper? You mean like butcher paper? I don't know about, I'm not super familiar with the paper that quilters use, but pretty much anything that's tougher. And this wasn't a spiral, like this wasn't like them making a mistake. I just chose the wrong paper. Ah, thank you. Yeah, I was pretty proud of this one. Like I said, this was the second time. This was the second time that I did this one. And I think I did Ergo Softs, actually. Yeah, I was pleased with that one. So tracing and copying for personal use is fine? Yes. Or is allowed? Yeah. So I mentioned that I did it in a smaller copy shop for a reason, because during this time when because whenever she had her contests, I would always print them out on a much larger, heavier paper because I wanted to color them huge. I'll have to pull them out at some point. I have a whole box full of all of these pages that I did. I printed them out big. It was fabulous. However, at the time that I was doing that, I can't remember if it was a group I was in or something, people were also taking theirs to places like Office Depot, basically any of the big box printing stores, and they were getting turned away because they were saying that it was a copyright issue. So they couldn't print these things out, these illustrations out that weren't theirs. Can I actually go look and see if they're, hang on, I'm just going to look and see. I have them in a closet where we keep all of our extra boxes. If it's just sitting out, I can show it to you, but if it's buried, then that's a hard pass. All right, let's see here. Do I see it immediately? Ooh, I found my felt. You guys are in my storage closet with me right now. Congratulations. Yeah, no, it's buried. Because if I can't see it immediately, it's probably under a tote. There's like two rows of totes. But I will get that out for next time, and I'll have those set aside because I have a ton of them. I never throw away pages I do at all. It's not practical to store them all. First time I did it, oh, you did it in gel pen. Such a lovely sounding storage closet. You know, the funny thing is, this room that we're in, this is technically the master bedroom of this house. So this house has four bedrooms. It has 4 bedrooms. There's some smaller ones, and then there's this one. And so it has a bathroom attached to it. Yeah, I'll take them out and pull them out. It's just I have to lift totes to move totes. I'm like, I'm not moving stuff on stream. That's just asking to be hurt. And so when we moved here, we looked at the room that was originally going to be the office, and I looked at Steve. I was like, we're not both going to fit in here because we share the office. Steve's area is over here. I just have the camera where you can't see his stuff. But I was like, there's no way that we're both going to fit in here. Let's be honest. There's no way I'm going to fit in this room by myself with all my stuff. So the master bedroom is the office, but because it's the master bedroom, it has a, ooh, markers are great. It has a bathroom attached to it as well as a big walk-in closet. And the big walk-in closet is where we store our totes of things that, you know, I don't want to leave in the garage because it gets too hot in there or whatever. So it's sort of our storage closet. But and tote instead of on shelves because I don't have bookcases, so I'm sure some might have imprints on the covers from the right? Exactly. Oh my gosh, we derailed pretty quickly there, didn't we? But yeah, long story short, spiral binding is just fine. Just things to keep in mind. Fun things I did that I tried, things that didn't work. I'd like to get a binder myself because I always toyed with the idea of printing and selling my own books, but especially with the way the shipping things are going to go. They are, I think it's September. And like, this isn't me like getting political. This is just facts of things that have passed. I was glad we did the giveaway for the book for overseas because September things are going to get a lot more complicated. They are, with the tariffs, they were making it to where things that you were sending that were $800 weren't going to get the additional tariffs on it. But that's going away in September. There's a lot of small businesses that aren't shipping to the US anymore because of it. So, yeah, I don't know how that'll affect. I don't really send many things internationally anymore. But yeah, it's about to get really complicated. So I was glad that we took care of that before that all went down. So we'll see. Yeah. Anyway, we won't get into it. I have things I could say, but this is not the place for it. But yes, tariffs are going to complicate things. So if you are wondering, like, why doesn't she have stuff to send out in the Etsy shop anymore? It's a headache. Nice, nice. Came from overseas for that reason. I know I was thinking about it, but I'm just going to have to learn to do without. I know I was reading in the yarn forums, a lot of people get their yarn from overseas too. Like, they're very specific people and they're just like stressing about it and all, and it's just like, anyway, it is what it is. Anyway, all right, it is just about 12:30. I swear we got nothing done, but we did. We have colors picked for the flowers, so feel free to go on with it. I don't think I'm going to do mirror colorings. I think we're going to make everything different, but the border will definitely be brown, and I'm going to try and duplicate this over here in the meantime. It's going to look really cool when it's done. It'll just take us a little bit because it's a really big page. But yeah, all right. I like our side quests. It's fun to chat with you guys. I don't get to talk to anybody else about coloring because everyone thinks I'm insane. Do the other side in spring colors? Nah, I'm liking the fall vibe. I think we'll definitely do some different ones like that, like with the houses in Small Victories. What was it? I think Durbin suggested the different holidays. That could be cool. All right, everyone. Have a great rest of your week. Keep being awesome. Thanks for sleuthing the books with me. And yeah. I'll see you guys in a week. All right, everyone. Bye.